This episode of the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast is brought to you by the Podcast Reach System. Are you ready to exponentially reach more profitable customers? Launching and hosting your own show is your proven best solution for networking, client attraction, and establishing your celebrity expert brand. Visit www.podcastreachsystem.com and claim your rightful place as the leading star of your industry so you make a difference for your community, market, and audience. Welcome to the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast. Join us as we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who reveal what they are doing to make the world a better place by being part of it. Be sure to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, lean in, tune in, get your notepad and 2 pens ready, and let's get started.
My name is Adam Homey. I am your host, and I am honored by your wise decision to tune in and invest in yourself today by joining us for the Brilliance Plus Passion Project. Right now, we are speaking with Katja Rusanen, who is a story coach. You're going to discover more about her as we go along, and you can visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and look up her episode. But I'll tell you very briefly, she's a #1 best-selling author, story coach, speaker, and spiritual mentor who has dedicated her life to helping clients discover the power of personal stories and create a business they love. So without further ado, Katja Rusanen, come on in. Welcome aboard. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you for having me, Adam. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right. So first question, how does the work you do make the world a better place for your clients, customers, and the world at large?
I love helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs transform their life experiences into stories that attract their ideal clients so that they can do the work that they are meant to do. As well, once they transform those stories, sometimes we might be stuck in the past. So at the same time as we transform the stories, they also liberate themselves from any blocks they might have energetically, and therefore they are more free to move forward and share that lesson that they learned through the life experiences. And of course, it has the ripple effect of light, because then they help also their clients, and that way create a better place here.
Isn't that funny how the ripple effect works? You know, I think all of us have debts to those who have helped us along the way. And in some cases, we can never repay that debt directly. That's where I believe the whole idea of paying it forward comes from. There are some people who owe me things that there's no way they could repay me because it doesn't make sense. There's no tit for tat, quid pro quo or anything like that. It's a matter that they can take it, and my gift involves helping the next person down the line or the next thing down the line. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So seeing how your work helps the people you work with help the people they work with. That is the first time we've actually heard that expressed here on this project, and I love it. Yeah. So tell us exactly what it is you do so that our listeners and viewers can understand.
So as a story coach, I help my clients with the inner stories, which is doing the energetic clearing and healing, but then also how to share those stories. So I help my clients to craft their so-called origin story, how they got to do what they do now, and also help with the social media content, how to use stories on social media, because so many people struggle. How do I get my message across? How do I get more clicks and likes and shares to my posts so that my message is read more? So what I do is helping them to create content that is captivating and starts getting those connections, and then those followers start converting to be clients. And I do that work through one-on-one transformational coaching, as well as I do have online programs. And the two most popular ones are Client Attraction Story System and Captivating Content Method Program.
Right. Great. So in your experience, what are a few of the most common questions, the FAQs, that people share with you as they're working through their process of deciding to engage with you?
There are two groups of people that I often meet. One of them is like, well, Katja, what if I don't have a story? And I'm like, well, I bet you do. And if you're one of them, test me because I know you have stories to tell. And then there is other group, they know they have a plenty of stories. So then their question is, well, how do I know what story to choose? Because there are so many. So I can help them too. And then one of the things as well comes often is, how do I know how much to share? We are often worried about oversharing, and we want to avoid that. And that might often lead undersharing, because then we don't want to share anything personal. So I help them to find the balance there.
Right. So that being said, what are a few questions you wish people would ask?
I'd wish that they would want to know why to share the stories. What is the bigger reason behind? And another thing I'd love them to ask also, what do I need to know before sharing a story? And maybe also, how can I make my story come live? Because often our stories, and this is where I started too, by the way, like often it can be just events like this happened and this happened and this happened. And yes, you are sharing what happened, but it's not live yet. So I can help you to bring the story live. And that is part of the questions I'd love people to ask me.
Yeah, fantastic. Because I think it's important to bring that out, that we find ourselves answering the same thing again and again and again. And the more that we can share with our audience that these are trends, the more that we can help them even find their own inspirations and own discoveries that can take them further down their own path. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. We don't know that it's something that we could know, and we don't have a framework for knowing the questions we ask to discover it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, totally. And I love the question that you had. It was like, what would I like them to ask? Real quick.
Yeah. So let's shift gears for a moment. Let's get to what I like to call the fun part. And this is where we share a few things that help our listeners get to know you better. First of all, and this is going to be a little surprise for your friends, what would people who know you be amazed, surprised, shocked, stunned to learn about you? So this is people you know. What would people you know be surprised to learn about you?
You know, sometimes I get ideas, and some of them are a bit out of the box ideas.
Yeah.
And not all of my friends know that about 10 years ago, I got this great idea, and I found one friend who said yes to join me. I decided to climb to Mountain Kilimanjaro in Africa. It's the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. And I didn't even own hiking boots. So hiking was not my thing. I was like, but I just got this idea and I go for it. So I started training, and I did climb. But luckily, I did not know all the details, how challenging it can be, because it truly challenged me physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, that climb. And we stayed on the mountain 6 days. And one of the fascinating facts from that climb is that I'm originally from Finland. Yes.
Yeah.
You might have wondered where this accent is from, so just wanted to share that. And
Yeah.
it's pretty cold country winter time. But my coldest night was on that summit night when I was going to the peak of Uhuru Peak on Kilimanjaro. That was the coldest night of my life. And I would have not made it if I wouldn't have a team. And that's where I all really opened up, like realizing how powerful it is to have support on your way. And when we summited the mountain, I saw the sunrise because we started middle of the night to be up on the mountaintop when the sunrise came up. And I love to see that because it meant also the coldness is over and there is a new morning coming up. And that moment is one of the most beautiful memories I have so far from my journey to experience that the light overcomes the darkness, and that I have many levels experienced in my life. But that is a very special moment that I savor. And many don't think me as a hiker in the mountain, but I did that, and I did climb Mountain Kilimanjaro.
Nice. Well, I got to tell you, I climbed the steps yesterday.
That's a start.
Yes. All right. What do you hope people say about you when you're not around to hear it?
Well, I hope that they are inspired by the stories I share, that they would be inspired by the action and the energy that I have, because I do have a lot of energy and I'm so excited to be able to do the work that I do. So I just would love that they would wonder how in the earth that lady is doing all those things.
Yeah.
Going and has that joy, and then that they would like to have some of that and reach out to me and ask some tips and insights how to do that.
Of course. If you could go back in time and change one thing you've done, one thing you've experienced, one thing that's happened, what would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. There was a time in my life when I was really, truly hoping that I could go back and I could change things in my life, because I lost a loved one to suicide, my first boyfriend, when I was 16 years old. And for many, many years, I just hoped that I could go back and change how things happened. And then I started thinking, when you asked the question, I was like, how would I know what would be the one thing to change that would change the course of action? So I feel like one of the things I'd go back, if I would go back, would be just really sending the message to myself that it is okay to ask support, whatever was happening, because often I closed up and I was not maybe accepting support as much as I could have. There was people around me, but I was not allowing the support to come through. So I'd be maybe changing that, because who knows, some of these things we need to experience in life, and they have that experience put me to the spiritual path where I'm right now.
Yeah.
And it's these things like, I wish things would have been different, but what happened. And now it's just like having the lesson that I learned through this experience and sharing and hopefully supporting others to share their stories too, because often it's silence that kills us.
I'll tell you the number one overriding lesson of 2021 for me is that when you have something you're feeling, something you're experiencing, something you need to process, give yourself the space to burn that shit through. Because within that breakdown, there's a breakthrough.
That's
and
right.
That energy puts you into a problem-solving place. Why do I feel this way? Why am I experiencing this? Why is this a challenge to me? And when you begin exploring those different avenues, those different ways of branching off from that initial sense, and don't let anybody tell you whether it's appropriate or whether you should know better or to just get over it or whatever or what have you. And find people who understand what's going on and support it.
Yes, totally.
And you will move so far so quickly. And if you get pushback, like for example, come on, you're wasting time on this, or this is stupid, or here's the answer, you say something like, and I've used this successfully, I say, you know what? It may be the case that what you're telling me is accurate. You know this because you went through a journey to find that. I'm on my journey right now. And many journeys we take, we already know the destination to. We just don't know the route. Right now, I'm discovering my route.
That is powerful. And we are never alone. So that's we always have support, but sometimes we do need to ask.
Exactly. So what famous person, alive or dead, would you like to meet? And if you had the opportunity, what question would you have for them?
Whoa, so many. But I have a Buddha painting there, so I'd love to actually meet Buddha. And what I would ask, oh my goodness, I would just love to be in his presence.
Yes.
If he has anything, any advice inside for me, I would take it. But just being in his presence would be most likely amazing.
Yeah. What motivates and inspires you to keep going when you're having a tough time or facing a challenge?
My purpose. And that is something that really seeing the bigger picture, having the calling to do the work that I feel called to do, that comes from my heart. And the love that I have for the work. And when I see the breakthroughs and transformation in my clients, it brings me so much joy, and that helps me. And when I have tough moments, sometimes it is recalling, reading testimonials from my past clients and checking how they experienced my work, because that helps me to reconnect with why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Now, finally, and I'm going to, I know you have an invitation for our viewers and listeners. I'm going to share that with them in a moment. I will do that. But in general, what is one action you encourage our listeners to take as soon as they finish streaming this episode?
I'd love them to consider what would be the stories that they could share so that they could be spark of inspiration, spark of hope for someone else, because I believe that your story really matters. So I'd encourage them to think, what are the life lessons they have learned through life experiences that they could share? Because I believe that your story can help someone else. So please do start sharing your stories and experiences and your wisdom.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. But before you go, as I mentioned a moment ago, I know you have a little something for us. Those who are out running and jogging, I will say it one time out loud. Otherwise, I encourage you to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com to get this link. Let me say this out loud. It's a bit.ly link, so bit.ly/increase engagement fast. That's bit.ly/increase engagement fast. And what you will gain when you go to that link is a guide that's called 5 Keys to Increase Your Facebook Engagement Fast. Here's the thing, as Katja says, Facebook posts that generate great content or create scroll stopping. Let me try this again. Discover the proven way to create scroll stopping Facebook posts to generate great client conversations online. I could say that 5 times fast. And in 5 keys to increase your Facebook engagement fast, you'll get the 5 secrets to sharing meaningful content that engage and attract perfectly aligned clients, plus 50 story ideas for your Facebook posts. Have fun with that one. I would encourage everybody to pick that up. Some of the stuff I see y'all writing, oh boy, let me tell you one of these days. But I delivered Katja to you who can be of service. So with that, Katja Rusanen, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been an honor, and believe me, an education.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning into the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast, where we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who are making a difference for their community, market, and audience. Remember to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast.